my friends. Welcome to another live. It's a beautiful day today. It's actually hot. It's 26 degrees. Yoo-hoo! I don't know what tomorrow is going to be. This morning was cold, but as the day prolonged, it's 26 degrees. Yoo-hoo! And I'm going to go for my afternoon walk because it's so warm outside. But today we are continuing on our African series because I said I was going to do African series. I am going to also do a herbal series because a lot of you said that I should do a series about herbs. But the thing about it is YouTube had made some rules and like you can't say certain things about herbs and plants because they think you're, like you're talking about healing and you're not a doctor. So when I make those videos, I gotta be very careful what I say. So I guess I'm gonna have to script those videos to make sure I don't say any words that's gonna trigger, the guidelines and the community guidelines. So yeah, that's why I didn't make that video yet, but that's what it is. So we're gonna continue to talk about Africa, and let's continue on our African series because a lot of you are here in Canada and you want to move to Africa, and also there's a lot of you who are already in Africa, building your lives or who are starting your lives, and there's some of you out there who has mentioned to me that you want to move on the continent of Africa but you don't know where to start, right? So we're going to continue the series. I have a couple of videos, I think 3 or 4 videos on my channel. I give some tips, but today we're going to talk about how to choose an African country. So how did we choose our African country? So our country to go in, and as you guys know, we're moving, but we're still in the process of getting everything ready to move, and it's a process. And since we are people who take our time doing stuff, we want to make sure that things are done properly, and there is no, I mean, everything can be perfect, but you want to make sure that it's a certain perfection. You know what I mean? So that's exactly what we are doing. So in this video, I'm going to tell you how did we go about choosing a country to go in, because you want to move but you don't know which country to go in and you're not sure. But as I say, the best thing is to go there and visit some of the countries that you think that you're going to like. Once you come to that conclusion that you want to move on the continent of Africa, you should do some research, like geography. So you should take a map, go on the map, and start researching on the map. And this is a good way to start because on the map, it's going to show you the locations of things. It's going to show you the places that have rivers, lakes, places that are wetlands. It's going to show you places that are, it's going to show you places with the different climatical conditions. It's going to show you that on the map. So when you take the map to read it, you're going to see at the bottom of the map, there's some lines and it tells you what everything means on the map so you can understand the map. If you're a person who never read a map or you don't know a lot about geography, how to start with geography, this is a good way to do it. So what you want to look at the green areas in a particular country. So when you see green areas, that means this area get a lot of rainfall, and that means this area is fertile for growing food. So if you want to grow stuff, you want to look for the green area. And the next thing that you want to look for within that, like why the green area is important, because then if you want to have a well, it's going to be good because then that area is green, they get a lot of water. So that means it's going to be a place that has water. It's going to be a place that has water. And so that's what you want to look for. The next thing you want to look for when it comes to the climatic conditions, you want to see if a place is dry or if a place is wet. So if a place is very wet, because some place like in Kenya, they have a lot of like wetlands, you don't want to buy property there or you don't want to live there because when it rains, it tends to flood. So you want to find out that on the map to make sure that you're not going in an area where you have a lot of wetlands that when it rains, it's going to be problematic. And the next thing you want to find out is like when you look on the map, you're going to see arid regions. Arid regions is regions where it's very dry. So you might get rain for like 3 times for the year, like in intervals. Say for example, you're going to get a little bit of rain in January. You're not going to get rain in February and stuff like that. So certain months there's not going to be no rains, or sometimes 3-4 months there's no rains. So you want to look at those areas. Because if you're in an area where there's no rain, you're going to have problem with water. If you want to grow food, you're going to have problems. You may be able to grow the kind of food that you want. So these are some stuff that you want to look for. I will answer all your questions at the end of the video because I want to get to the topic what I'm saying. And a lot of you on the live said that they don't like when I interrupt and answer your questions in between because it kind of takes away the trail of thought. So let's answer questions after. So that you want to look for. And arid places, it's not easy to live in an arid place, especially if you want to do certain things. If you want to do farming, an arid region may not be good for you. Only if you're going to be growing certain crops that is, how you say, susceptible to like to arid religion, not religion, arid regions or arid temperatures. You know what I mean? So that's it. So I know like something like tamarind, people grow tamarind, and tamarind like dry areas. So if you're gonna go there and farm tamarind, or you're gonna plant to grow tamarind, that may be a good area for you because you can plant them and they're going to be fine. And certain fruit trees, like we have like some what do you call that? There's this kind of flat desert plant that people used to wash their hair, and they used to make different fibers. Those plants, they grow well there. And it also grows fruit, like dragon fruit is very good for arid areas. So if you want to grow certain things, if you're planning to do a business and you want to do certain things like that areas will be good for you. So that's why it's good when you want to move to the continent of Africa, you want to start with a map. Whichever country that you're in, you want to start with a map. And once you have the map, then you can have it gives you an idea of what different countries in Africa look like. You can see the geographical location and the temperature. You can see, what climatic conditions that they have. Some areas in Africa, they have snow. It's cold, like winter conditions. So for example, if you live in a place like Canada and you want to get away from Canada cold temperature, I don't think you're going to want to go somewhere that is colder on the African continent. So maybe you want to look for a place that is you just have 2 seasons, like winter and autumn, or a place that's very arid. It depends on you, what you like and what you want to do, and when you get there. So that's very important, because I see many people that they just pick a place and then they don't like it, or sometimes they just pick a place and then when they go there they realize, hey, I can't grow food, I can't do the things that I want to do. So it's always wise to do a geography search first, right? So once you do this geography search and you realize certain things about the area, it's free. That's free. Like you're not paying anything, and you're right that you are in your house, in your location, continue living your life, and you're still doing your research. So once you find that out, then you can say, okay, say for example, you do your geography location search, and then you see, so say for example, you pick Kenya, or you pick Turkey, or you pick Istanbul, or say for example you pick Ghana, right? Say you just start with 5 countries, and you say, I'm going to pick these 5 countries and let me see if I like them. So then you want to take each country. Say for example you say that, let me start with Ghana, and you start with Ghana, and then you go down your list, because you should have a list of the things that you want to do there and the expectation of the country that you go in. So for example, like I said, if you want to do farming and you want to be in Ghana, so then you're going to look up farming and what structure is already there for farming in Ghana. If you want to do like real estate, you're going to look that up. If you want to build a house, then you're going to look up how much it costs for construction, how long a building is going to take, all that kind of stuff. So you're going to start looking that up. You can also go online and you can find construction people, you can find their number, you can find companies, you can call them and find out certain things when it comes to building. So that you can find out. And if you want to do certain businesses, then you can call up different factories and find out the prices of certain things that you're going to buy or you're going to purchase. Ask about the wholesale prices, ask for delivery, something like that. If you want to do anything in transportation or something like that, you can also call and find information on that particular thing. So right where you are, you can do the research that you want to do research. And then you just continue doing research like that to all the 5 countries that you're going to pick, right? And then as you go down the line, you eliminate the countries that you think doesn't suit you. For example, if you pick Turkey and you say, okay, I want to go to Turkey and you want to do some transportation business, something like that. But then after you realize the roads in Turkey, maybe it's not gonna suit you, or you say, okay, you know what, the climate is very warm there, and so maybe my goods are gonna spoil. So I'm gonna need a different trucking system, and you realize, okay, maybe they don't have that there, or maybe and that's not something very popular, and maybe that's not something that is needed at the moment. So then you're going to move on to the next thing. Okay, what can I do if I'm going to pick Turkey? What can I do there? So this is how you kind of go around. Say for example, you choose um like Kenya, you do the same thing. So you kind of go the countries that you think that is attractive to you, you do a great research on those countries, and you want to research everything that's on your list in relation to the country that you were going to choose, right? And then, of course, you want to do a research on the history of the people. You want to see what kind of people that is there. You want to do a research on the religion there. And why religion is important is, for example, say if you're going to go to, say, a Muslim country and you're a woman, you have your family and stuff like that. And say, for example, you're a Christian person, right? And the majority of the people there are Muslims and they wear hijabs and they expect you to be covered and stuff like that. But if you're not a Muslim person and you don't cover yourself, right? You just dress anyhow, you expose your legs, you know what I mean? You don't cover your head. I don't think there's a problem if you don't cover your head. I think what's going to be a problem is the exposure. So if you go into a place where 95% of the people are completely covered or modestly dressed, and you're not accustomed to that culture, that may not be a place that is suited for you because that's just not your thing. So when you go there, you're definitely going to have a problem, because if you're dressing in shorts and if you're dressing in little short t-shirts, or your arms are exposed, and in that part of the world they don't do that, you're going to be like a mismatched person there. So that may not be a place that you want to go in, right? I had a person told me that they moved to, like, a person said that they moved to Tanzania, a certain part of Tanzania, and in that part of Tanzania that they moved in, the people there, they were covered, completely dressed. They didn't wear any shorts, they didn't wear anything with their legs exposed, the shoulder was not exposed, none of that. They were properly covered. And then they went there and they were wearing shorts, they were wearing some clothes with some slits, and when they went into the store and stuff like that, they were ignored, and people were kind of frowning at them and looking at a certain way, and they were kind of upset. But they were kind of upset because they didn't know that. That was one. They wasn't aware of certain things. That's why I talk about researching and doing certain things, because if you're not aware of certain things, then this is what's going to happen. And so she started feeling uncomfortable, and she said, well, I don't really wear dresses and I don't really wear skirts, like certain skirt. I like, I'm a person, she said she's a person that wear tight clothing, and she like clothes that fit her body, you know what I'm saying? But they don't wear those kind of clothing. So she had to move to another area, where she didn't really want to move, but she lived in that area where I was talking about before, and she was very uncomfortable there because the people there was just modest, and most of the people some people wear hijab, some people just had a little covering over their head, but most of the ladies there, they wear dresses, and their body was just covered. It was just covered. If they wear something up to their elbow, but they wasn't wearing anything that was exposed to, say, like a armless something. Nobody was wearing that. And she wore armless stuff and shorts and mini skirts and small tops with her tummy is exposed, and people just wasn't wearing that kind of stuff, and they kind of looked at her weird and she was uncomfortable. But where she was living there, it was a very nice place. The rent was very cheap. The place was very beautiful and stuff like that. And the only reason that she had to move is because of her attire, her clothing that she wore. So that was that. So she had to move somewhere else and settle somewhere else, and Over there it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same location. She didn't really love it. She didn't really vibe with it, but that's what it is. So sometimes when you're gonna move to a certain place, like I said, you gotta do some research and you gotta find out what is happening there. Am I gonna be compatible with the native people who are living there? Am I gonna be compatible with the culture, with the dressing and all that kind of stuff? So it's very, very important that you do that. So I made some notes on what we did personally. Let me tell you. So the first thing we looked at when we were planning to go on the continent of Africa was the political status of the country. So what was happening in the country? Is there any wars? Is there any countries that are close by that are fighting war against? Any political instability in the country? That was something that we look at, because you also want to look at that because you want to go to a place and it's safe. You don't want to leave your a safe country, then you go there, they start fighting, then you have to be a refugee, you have to be running for your life and all that kind of stuff. So that's number one. That's a very important thing. And you also want to make sure that you don't go to a country where the sister country there's fighting, because it could come onto the other country. You may be in a certain location, then they may be fighting, fighter planes, a bomb could accidentally drop in another country. So all that kind of stuff, you want to make sure that you're not going to a war zone. So that's very important. For example, if you want to go to places that are some places that are in Somalia, they're fighting war. You don't. I'm quite sure you don't want to be moving to Somalia at this point, because they are fighting their instability, their political unrest and stuff happening there. In certain parts of Sudan, that is happening. Sudan is a beautiful country. Somalia is a beautiful country too, but certain parts of those countries, they have fighting. Like in the Middle East also, if you want to go to the Middle East, in some part of the Middle East, you may not want to go there because they're fighting. Who wants to go in a war zone? But you also have to know geography. Geography is important because, for example, say for example, you go to one small country which there's no war fighting in the country itself, but the other country, two or three countries close by, there was war fighting, and you didn't know how close the countries were, and then you end up getting stuck in a situation like that. So please, like, do a geographical search so you make sure you know, like, what you're doing. Don't look on the internet and say, oh wow, this place is beautiful, it have beautiful beaches, people go there. But what is happening there? Is there political unrest? Like, is there racism happening there? Is black people accepted there? You know what I'm saying? You need to also know that kind of stuff, because when we look, we see there's so much racism. Look what's happening in England. Look what's happening in UK. There's all that political unrest that is happening in certain places. You don't want to, like, leave where you place where it's safe and go to a place that is unsafe. Some places, they don't like black people there. Black people have many issues because our color is a problem for them. They see us as, you know, they don't accept us among their people. So that you have to be careful. You have to be very careful about that. I know somebody who bought some land right now down south in a certain part in America, and they're having major issues on their property because there are just a few black people living in that area, and the people and the palm colored people who live in there feel that they should not be living there. So they're coming on their property and doing all kind of stuff and thing. And it's sad, you know what I'm saying? But not everywhere in America, uh, people buy property and that happens in that particular place that is happening right now. So it is a problem. And those people, they save their money and they were looking to, they move from one part of America to another place, and they didn't know that was going to happen to them. But again, I say, anywhere that you move, make sure you go there and make sure you, like, do some searches, talk to people, ask them, have you, has there have been any harassment in your area? Like, just drive around, find people, ask them questions. Don't get yourself caught up in something. Now they bought, I think, like 40 or 50 acres of land, and they may have to sell it because they can't live in peace on their property, because people consistently bother them, bringing animals, like, on their property, hunting on their property. And they were not doing that before. That land was like abandoned. Nobody was really going on it or doing anything on it. But as soon as they come there and buy it, it's a problem. You know what I'm saying? So these are the things that you have to look for. It doesn't matter which part of the world that you want to move to. So it's very important. Okay. So we looked at the political status of the country. So that's what we looked at: war, safety, close to like an unstable country. The next thing we looked at is the economy of the country, how poor or how rich that country is. So when we talk about economy, we talked about like, can you get a good job there? What is the wage system and all that kind of stuff. So we wanted to go somewhere where we can actually have a business, and a place where it's easy to achieve to get a business. Like there's not a lot of laws and takes a whole long time. Like in Canada, it takes a long time to open certain kind of business. You have to wait over 6 months. You have to pay all these fees and a lot of different things. So we wanted to make sure that we're going to be able to pay a certain amount of money, go to this country and really start a business. And also, we wanted to make sure that the country that we're going to be going in is going to be easy for us to save the capital from here and go there with the capital and be able to start the business, for the first year and start it up running and then maintain it until it starts making profit. You know what I'm saying? So, in certain places that you're going in thousands and thousands of dollars to do certain things, and in certain places you don't need like such amount of money. You may need like $2,000-3,000, even $1,000, because then when you convert the money in their money, it's worth something. So we wanted to go to countries where, say for example, Kenya or Tanzania or Gambia, something like that, where even in my country, Grenada, you know, your money is doubled or tripled or something like that. So you have the advantage because of the Canadian dollar or the American dollar. So that's what we want. Like we want to go to a country because we're business people and obviously want to do business. And so that was important for us. When it comes to wages, we also wanted to check on the wages because, for example, if we're educated people with university degrees, so we want to make sure if, say, for example, we want to live in that country and we want to teach or we want to, do our profession, what would be the wage? Would it be worth it? Can we work there and can we use our wage to travel and do the things that we want to do? So that was something important for us. So we looked at the wages. And then we want to find out, like, how developed is the country when it comes to jobs. So what kind of jobs they have there? Can I work in my profession as a teacher? Can my husband work in his profession? Can we do that? Because I'm a teacher by profession. So can I teach? I'm also a business person. You know what I'm saying? So I have these two profession, business person and yeah, that's I went to school for both of them. So anyways, so we want to make sure that we can work in our field. I'm also a specialist for autistic kids. So can I work in these three fields that I have the qualifications for? So we wanted to make sure that. So we had to do some research and stuff like that too. So that's very important. And then you can say, okay, well, if I want to open a business, I can open a business. If I want to work, I can work. If I want to partner with somebody, alongside somebody, I can do it. So that's really important. I think sometimes people just like, oh, I'm just gonna travel. I'm suffering here. I have problems here. There's racism. There's all kind of things happening. I can't find a job, so I'm just gonna move somewhere else. But I think we need to be careful and like mindful when we make decisions, because if you don't make the proper decision, you are in a position that is worse than where you were before. So it's very important that you make a right decision. Yes, you may be suffering. Yes, you may have issues. You know what I'm saying? But be careful when you make your plans to relocate to somewhere else, because like they say, you don't want to be in the frying pan and jump into the fire. You know what I'm saying? You want to be in the frying pan and jump out. You understand? Not going to the fire. So that's very, very important. So you need that. The next thing we look for was like infrastructure, right? That was the third thing we look for. So infrastructure, we talk about like how fast the country is developing. We wanted to look at that. Say for in a year from now, when we're in this country, what is happening? Do they have a train station? Are they planning to have a train station? Are they planning to have more buses? Are they planning to have fast, are they planning to have like more, how you say that, technical stuff to be used and things like that? So we looked at that kind of stuff. Where is this country going? What is it going to be better for real estate? Is it going to be better for how you say, like engineering and all that kind of stuff? Those kind of stuff. What direction is it going into? Tourism? Is it going into transportation? Is it going into recycling? What infrastructure? Are they going to have more buildings for the poor people all that kind of stuff. So we looked into all of that because you want to make sure that the country that you're going is going upwards and not going downwards, right? You want to progress in life. You don't want to go to a place where you're like, oh my gosh, why did I come here? You want to go in a place where you're going to be happy, contented, and you're going to be, you know, make progress where you're going. So that was something we look at. We also looked at different infrastructure like internet, what kind of internet services they have, and how far the internet service goes. And we also looked at, can we bring in internet services from outside and will it work there? Because some you can bring in like remote, some places, like say you're living in Canada and Canada has a certain internet service that is a remote one, you can travel all over with it and it's not a problem. You just need like the box and you have that signal and it works wherever you go. So we want to make sure that these things are available. We can take it with us there and it's going to work for what we need it for, So you want to find out all that stuff because if you're going to be running a business, you're going to need internet and you're going to need good infrastructure, So we also looked at the buildings that they have in the city. If you want to rent something, is those things are available or is everything just like taken and private and whatever? So these are all kind of stuff that you want to find out if you're going there to the business and everything like that. If you're a person who's just going to retire, you already saved your money, and you don't plan on doing all that stuff, still, you don't have to focus so much on business, but you should focus on location. You should focus on food because food is important. You should focus on infrastructure, somewhere where you're going to live, a safe environment, and you should also focus on transportation. Are you going to buy a vehicle there? What are the roads? How is the road? Is it mud road? Is the road good in the city? In the suburban area, how is the road? You need to find out all of that stuff. You understand? The next thing we looked at, I talked about business. We looked at business and real estate and stuff like that. So we're people who love, we're interested in real estate, and so that's something we want to continue on when we go over there. And so we also researched into real estate, what is happening in that country, and that is something you have to do. Like I said, when you pick your 5 or 6 or 7 countries that you're going to do research on, if you're a person like our family who was interested in real estate, you got to look at real estate, see what kind of prices house is going for, how much real estate agencies they have in there. Is it like a very small amount? Do you think that you can go in there and open your own real estate firm and do well? No, these are the stuff that you gotta be looking at, Electricity, which is very important. We looked at electricity. That is very important because if you're going to have a business, even if you have a house, you're going to need electricity. Because, most people, once they go in a certain place and it's a sunny climate, they tend to do solar, or sometimes they do a wind. They do wind turbines, those silent wind turbine that doesn't make a lot of noise, and they draw the electricity from there, But if you, in certain climates, when it's the rainy season and it's foggy outside or when it's cloudy outside, you may not get a lot of sun. So you're going to need electricity to back you up. So you also want to find out, what is the electricity company? How does it work? And you really want to check into that. Because I have many friends in different parts of Africa, and some of them said that there's no poles in certain rural area. Like if you're a person who want to live on the outskirts or in a little rural area and you don't want to be so much in the city because you want that nature, you want that quiet, in some places you will have to bring that pole in because sometimes the electricity does not run there. So that's an important thing that you want to find out. And it may not cost a lot of money to get a pole or electricity, but you also want to find that out too. Because if you want to live in the rural areas, you want to find out, well, so much money should I save extra? Because if you're going somewhere, you want to make sure you have the finances to take care of everything that you want to achieve there or to make yourself comfortable. So if the area that you want to live in, electricity doesn't run all the way there, you have to put a pole. You're going to have to find out how much for that pole and how much money can you save from the country that you're in to go over there. You know what I'm saying? So these are some kind of things that you should find out. Okay. So these are some things that we we looked on. Something that we looked about is poverty and safety. So if you go into a country and the country is very, very poor, you have to look at the crime rate of the country. Because if you're gonna come from another country and you're gonna have some money and you're gonna go build some big house in a village where the people are very poor, you just setting up yourself for disaster because people are gonna steal from you. You know what I'm saying? And that's not what you want. So you want to make sure that you go to a country where the crime rate is very low. People are honest, people are nice, and people are friendly, and the crime rate is not very high. You have to look at all of that, guys. This is very, very important. Like I said, you don't want to leave the frying pan and jump into the fire. It's very, very important. The next thing we looked at was the climate. Okay, so we looked at places that has 2 seasons because we're really interested in places that have 2 seasons: rainy season and um and the dry season, because we don't like the cold. Honestly, in my family, we don't like winter. That's not something that we enjoy. We don't enjoy winter. A little bit of coolness, we don't mind. We like that, but we want a climate that is hot and rainy. Because I like to grow vegetables. I like to have my animals and all that kind of stuff. I'm a farm girl. I'm a country girl. So I like that kind of stuff. So I need that kind of environment, And my husband like the heat. I like the heat too. The heat doesn't bother us both, actually. We love the heat. So we want to make sure that we go in a country where these things are available for us. So that's important for us. So when we were looking, we eliminated any country that was arid, that is hot and dusty and doesn't have a lot of rainfall. We didn't want to go there. It didn't matter how beautiful the place is. We didn't want to go there. But we kept those places on our list because we're going to visit there and enjoy the beauty of the place at some point, because we love to travel and we've been traveling all over Canada and US. So obviously when we get onto the continent, we'll be traveling all over the continent of Africa. So doing our research, we found a lot of things about different countries and we're very intrigued and interested. And so we're going to be definitely traveling. Now, my husband had the opportunity to travel to a lot of African countries this month. So he did a good set of traveling. So now when we leave, he knows exactly different places that we're going to go. We have an idea of the country that we already chose. He already went there and scouted things out. So we already know like the location where we want to go and all kind of stuff like that. So I'm going to get to that point after for you guys. Okay. So we choose 2 seasons, dry, like I said. We decide not to choose an arid climate. And I'm going to tell you some arid climate. So like Namibia, Angola, Botswana, Algeria, and northern Kenya, and the Somali desert area. These are very arid areas. Now, we like Namibia, and we're definitely going to visit Namibia. We're going to visit Botswana. We want to visit Angola. And northern Kenya also. We want to visit northern Kenya because, it's beautiful out there. It's beautiful. So we're definitely going to visit those areas. Now, Botswana is a beautiful place from our research and some people that we see there. And, as you travel, you meet people and they tell you about their country and they tell you different stuff. So this is a nice place, but it's an arid place. So water can be an issue in those areas. So we're definitely going to visit those areas. Who knows? Maybe we might find an area over there and we like it more than where we choose right now. But these are the arid areas. So even if we did research on them, and my husband had a chance to go to some of those arid areas, but we didn't pick it, right, to go live right now, right? But we'll definitely visit because they're worth visiting because they're beautiful places. Okay, and yeah. So and then the next thing that we looked for was education. So we looked at the education system in those countries that we researched to see what education system they have there, and is it better than the system that we have? And if I can teach there, right, in that education system. So that was very important for us. After we have 2 younger children who's going to need to go to college and university, so we need a good education system. We also looked at private schools. We looked at the public school system. We looked at the literacy Rates. We looked at a lot of stuff for different countries on the continent of Africa, and that was a driving force for us too when we pick our country, because we want to make sure that education or kids get the best education, and we don't have to be like sending them to US or Canada to get their education while we're in other countries. That's what's really important for us, the schools. And then I want to continue teaching, and so that was also important for me to, do research on the schools that are there and see if I can teach there for a couple of years or something like that. So education is very, very important. Also, the cost of education, that you have to also find out if you have kids. This is if you have children. If you don't have any children, that part doesn't pertain to you. But if you have children, that's going to pertain to you, because, and that part is a long part, because you got to call schools. You got to find out a lot of different things about the school system, how it is run. And in those countries on the continent of Africa, they have a lot of rules. Some schools, they have uniforms. Some schools, they want the girls' hair to be cut. That rule is not sitting well with us. We're not never gonna cut our kids' hair, so those schools, our children are never gonna go to those schools. Some schools, they're only boarding schools, so kids stay in the school and they come home sometime on a weekend or on a holidays or different time. These are schools that we're not gonna pick. They have international schools also, but the international schools are very expensive. But you can find an international school that is within your price range and stuff like that. Now they also have like other primary school and secondary school that is just small schools, that is just local schools. And you can also go to the schools. They have different rules for those schools, and it's not very expensive. If you live in Canada or US, you can save up your money and you can send your child or your children there. It wouldn't be that expensive, right? So there's a lot of research when it comes to education, so we have to do our research well. Now we still have to go there and visit the schools and see the school, the classrooms, the conditions. My husband got an opportunity to, see some of the schools while he was there, but still, as a team, as a couple, we still have to go there and say, together, what is best for us, what area is best once we pick our location that we're going to be settling and staying. So that's very important. Make sure you find out about education, because if you're planning to do certain things, say for example, you're planning to teach like me, and say for example, I already got a teaching job, and I go there and I have no place with my children because I realize the schools is not good, and that's going to be a problem because now I have a job, and then where am I going to put my children? So you got to find out. That's very important. And the last thing is not the last thing, there's two more things. We looked at the medical infrastructure, what kind of medical infrastructure that country have, and the cost of medicine there. If you get sick or something, what's the cost? Is it expensive? Is it median range? Is it, what are the range? And then we also looked at the amount of doctors in the country and the amount of medical facilities within the country that you're going to go to. This is things are very important that you should look into, because you may be a very healthy person and you don't get sick, but remember, when you move into a new location, you need to get used to the climatic condition of that location. So you may get sick. Knock on wood, hopefully you're not going to get sick. And if you like us, we exercise, eat good food, and stay away from junk, and we're very careful what is in our environment. Even the houses that we live in, certain things we don't bring into our house. We don't use chemicals to clean our house. We make a lot of all natural soaps and things to clean our house. So that is really important. The environment, what goes into your body, what you use on your body, what you eat is very important. That's gonna entail how healthy you are or on how unhealthy, so that's gonna entail how unhealthy or healthy you are. So going into a new country, when my son was away in that country that we choose, he ate something and he got sick for a little bit, but he was fine after, because I we know a lot about herbalism, we know a lot about how to do certain things. So if you educate yourself about herbalism, if you educate yourself about natural medicines, when you get sick, you can just fight that sickness right away and you'll be fine. And that's why important on my channel. I talk about herbalism. I talk about, trying to know about native plants that you can use to heal your body. I talk about eating proper food. I talk about like plant-based diet, staying away from all that meat. I'm not saying not to eat meat or fish, but be in moderation. Don't be eating fish every single day, meat every single day. It's better to stick to a Mediterranean or plant-based diet. Eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and exercise and drink a lot of water, fruit juices, and stay away from sugar and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of teas that have tannin, but most stick to the natural teas that doesn't have tannin, because the tannin goes into your body and it kind of blocks your body from absorbing proper nutrients. So you also want to stay away from a lot of teas like black teas and all those kind of stuff. Better to drink green tea, better to drink mint tea, like thyme tea and all those kind of stuff, which doesn't have the tannins in it. Okay. So these are stuff. So I really talk about health. And I think if we take the time to really care for ourselves, we will be healthy and we'll be fine. A lot of people are not healthy because they don't take the time to take care of themselves. Whatever is there, they eat it, and they don't care about nutritional value. And they work a lot, they don't sleep enough. Sleep is very important. Very important. Sleeping, cleansing the body, and all that kind of stuff. Eating a lot of beetroot, having some apple cider vinegar in the morning time, eating a lot of fruit, which is going to flush your system out, drinking smoothies made from fruit and all that kind of stuff. Just eating fruit in general is going to, keep you flowing and healthy and stuff like that. So, eating a healthy diet, it's very important. So that is why I talk about medication. And so you want to make sure that the place that you're going have a good healthcare system in case something happens. And especially if you have young children, if your child hurt themselves and you need to take them there, what care are they going to get? Do they have x-ray systems? Do they have the proper facilities that's going to be able to take care of your child? If the child hurt himself, or do you need to fly the child back to your country that you were born in? So you have to think about all that kind of stuff when you're going to move to relocate to a country on the African continent, and you really have to do your research. We also looked into old age, like if we're gonna stay there until old age. We already have our home there and we settled there. How is it gonna be for us? As we get older, would that be a place that's gonna be conducive for us? Will we be able to live our old age life there and be happy and contented? So all that kind of stuff you gotta look into when you're gonna go to a foreign country. Because if you're going to go there and set up structure, you're going to have a home, like when you get old, can you stay there and maintain that home? Would you be able to afford to pay somebody to come in there and do stuff for you? I mean, if you move to a country like Kenya, Tanzania, Botswana, all those places, and you're getting a pension from US or Canada, and you're older, and you can afford to have somebody come and look after you, bring water for you, help you around the house, because when you convert the dollar, it's a lot of money. So you're going to be fine. If you're in Canada or US and you're planning to stay here to go and stay in an old person's home, that's going to be very expensive for you. You can use the same amount of money in an African country once you set yourself up properly, and you should have a good old age life with your pension that you're getting from America or Canada. You understand what I'm saying? So we looked at all those things when we were looking for a country to relocate to. And then we pick the one that is best for us, and we pick the one that is going to be suited to, based on all the things that we have in our criteria that we're looking for. It's like when you're looking for a house, you're looking for different criteria: 5 bedroom, 3 bedroom. You're looking for 2 bathroom, 1 bathroom. You're looking for a yard. You're looking for a huge kitchen or a small kitchen. You're looking for a basement. You're looking for a storage room. So it's the same thing. When you're relocating to another country, you have a list of things and the criteria that you want to have on your list when you're moving to a country. Don't move to any country, whether it's on the African country, whether it's in Europe, or wherever you want to go in the Caribbean. Don't be just going there because you see people out there. You need to really do a deep dive, really need to do a deep research, and make sure you know what you actually is getting yourself into. Because if you don't, you have problems. You definitely have problems. You know what I'm saying? Because, for example, if you move to a country that is very poor and then you're going to work there, say, for example, you're going to move to a country that's very poor, and maybe when you work, it's converted to like 400 US dollars or 400 Canadian dollars when you do the conversion. Now, that money cannot really sustain you to travel back to Africa, travel back to Canada or America, because it's just not enough. You know what I'm saying? So you have to think about all that kind of stuff when you're going to move to when you're going to relocate to another country, coming from the West out here. So you got to plan this thing really well, because you don't want to go there and be depending on your saving. Your saving is going to run out. You want to go there with a good plan so that you have your saving, but you're also going to be making money while you are there. So you could be working online once you're there. You could do a business, you can work there, get a job there, and get paid in US money or in their currency. You know what I mean? So you really gotta have a plan. You can't just go to another country and just, money runs out. Things happen. So be wise and be smart when you're choosing your country that you're gonna move to. But I'm basically on here, I'm talking about people who want to move to the African continent because most of my viewers, they want to move to the African continent. So I promised like I was going to come here and give tips and stuff on that. And that is exactly what I'm doing for you guys. So make sure you do due diligence when you want to move on the continent of Africa. And the last thing I'm going to say is, so once you figure out the countries that you're really interested in, kind of narrow it down to 1 to 2 countries. You can even maybe 3. And once you narrow it down, then go visit those countries. Go visit them and see what's there. Like take a good 3 a month, 3 to 4 weeks, and then go scout out those countries. If you're going to choose Botswana, go in Botswana. It takes about 2 to 3 weeks to really find things out, So that's what we did. So make sure you go to that country and look around, see what's there, talk to the local, talk to the people, find out information, hang out with the people, eat the food. Do you like the food? Do you like, the place? Do you like what you see? Do you like the environment? How is the environment? Is it clean? Are they environmentally conscious? Is how is the urban planning of the area? Look about that. How is the pollution? All that kind of stuff. My husband was in a certain country and the pollution was terrible. You know what I'm saying? You could even see the pollution on the horizon. You can see the black smoke and stuff like that. If you want to go to an area like that, I don't think so. You mean when you go to that country and say, "Whoa, it's really polluted here"? Nah, that's off my list. Let's move to the next. Let's go to the next country and explore and see what it is. You know what I mean? So that's gonna give you a footing. That's gonna give you a headway when you're deciding like which country on the African continent that you really want to go to. Don't be here and just do everything here. Don't be watching YouTube channel and just take everything from the YouTube channel. Go visit yourself. Go see what it is. And why you want to go there too is, say for example, if you want to buy land, you need to be on the ground because you need to go to the land places, like those land offices. You need to find information from them, how things work. You don't want somebody to be telling you stuff. You don't want to be scammed. I have a video on my channel about being scammed. So you don't want to do that. So you want, like I said, I talked about swampy lands. You want to go there, make sure you land that you're not buying. They have some lands that have a lot of grass, like it's how do you call that? Is this grass that they use to feed animals? It's a kind of invasive grass. You don't want to buy like a property that has this grass and you're having problems getting rid of this grass. So that's like a lot of things that you want to find out. Like if you're a person that like to just start a building from scratch, you don't want to buy a building that's already there. You also want to know that. I saw this couple who bought a building and they didn't know that the building was on a swampy area. And what happened is the building started to sink and they lost a lot of money because the building was almost, finished constructing, and now they got to go there and break up the entire house that they built. And that was very sad for them. And now they have to bring in soil to fill up the area, because what happened, the area was a swampy area. But had they gone there, they'd have seen it was a swampy area. And in that area, people do build there, but they bring in soil, right? They bring in soil and they build the area up, right? And then they concrete certain area. They have methods. They have things that they do, but when you're buying stuff in a foreign land, you've never been there, you have no idea. It's only when you're on the ground, you can talk to the locals and they can tell you certain things that is done. So unfortunately, they were not there, and that's what happened to them. So they lose a lot of money constructing this place and they have to start all over again. So you live and you learn. So that's why I come here and I talk to you guys and I tell you stuff so that you're not going to make the same mistake that other people are making out there moving on the continent of Africa, right? So that's really, really important. So yeah, so these are all the things. I made a list of all the things that we looked for. And so these are some of the things that we looked at. Um, yeah, and we also looked at like status. Another thing we did look at, which I didn't mention, was how quickly you can get status in the country, how long you need to be in the country to become like a permanent resident. You can like get a card to go to the bank and all that kind of stuff. We did look at that. And we also looked at citizenship because some countries you cannot have dual citizenship. You have to give one up. So that was a factor for us too. We didn't want to give up our citizenship, in the country that we're at or in my country that I was born in. So that was important for us to do because some countries on the continent of Africa, you could only have one citizen. You could have one citizenship. So if you're a citizen of Canada or America or a Caribbean country, you have to give that all up, and then you have to be a citizen of their country. So that was important for us also. So look for all of that. And that's basically it, guys. So I hope these tips were helpful to you guys. And any of you who wants to move on the continent of Africa, I'm going to come back. I have lots of videos that I'm going to come and do here for you guys and tell you guys. But as I mentioned, I'm not going to mention the country name that we are going to until we are actually in the country, because you can't say everything online for people. Okay, it's not everybody's happy for you when you're doing something. Some people are devils out there. Okay, so when we sit in our house on that, I'll make a nice video saying welcome. I didn't even do any videos with my my family while they were there, doing research and all kind of stuff. But all those videos are documented, and I'm gonna do a nice video documentation from when we started this project until we get there, sitting in our home and stuff like that. It's gonna be a good video. You guys are gonna enjoy it. All right, so let me answer some questions. So, what do you do for a living? I'm a teacher and I'm a businesswoman. I have my own company, Rustic and Classic. I sell skincare products and all that kind of stuff, but I am a teacher, right? And I teach primary school. Do you like turkey? I don't know if you're talking about the country Turkey, but if you're talking about the country Turkey, I've never been there. But if you're talking about the food turkey, like the turkey, yes, I like to eat turkey. It's very yummy. Yeah, I like that. Um, I am new to your channel. Hi, Fatima. Welcome to the channel. Thank you for coming. I welcome everybody who comes to my channel. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the questions that you ask. I see the channel have improved over the couple of months that I've been saying come onto the channel and put nice comments and ask questions that we can learn from. So I thank you guys. For those of you who come and respect the community guidelines on the live, thank you very much. And all the nice questions, I love them. I love those questions. So everybody who joined the live today, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Answer all your questions. You guys are always asking me, what do I do? But I guess you're a new person, so you don't know. But that's basically it, all right? So guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate all of you. And shalom. Stay positive. On this channel, we talk positive vibes. On this channel, we're here to learn from each other. On this channel, it's not no nonsense channel. The channel is about peace, the channel is about love, the channel is about sharing. We want to learn from each other, and we want to push positivity. We don't want any negativity on this channel. We want people to grow. We want people to see themselves as beautiful. We want people to see themselves as worthy. We want to improve people's self-esteem on this channel, both men and women. We want you to think positive things about yourself, and this channel is all about positivity. I care about people's thoughts. I think you as a person should know that you're beautiful from deep inside. You should value yourself. Every day you should be happy within yourself. You should not look at other people. You shouldn't want to be like other people because you're your own unique individual and you have skills and you have ability. And every day you should be focusing on how can I better the skills that I have and not look at other people and what they're doing. It's okay to look at somebody and learn from them, but never compare yourself to them, right? And be so enthralled with them that you neglecting who you are as a person and you are letting go of your own characteristic, your beautiful characteristic. Okay, so guys, stay beautiful, stay unique, love yourself every single day, and remember that you're beautiful. So I'll say peace out to everybody, and I'll see you in the next live. Shalom and bye.